Good morning, friends. We are going to start this class reclined. So just release onto your back. And so allow yourself to take up space like in a savasana shape. So feet a little bit further apart and because of low back things, maybe just have your knees bent and knees locked in toward each other, but you still have that same concept of taking up a little bit more space and your feet wider on the sides of your mat, arms alongside your body, or if you want to get into a little bit more into that shoulder, upper back region, reach your arms up above your head, soften your elbows, again, taking up space, and maybe laying your arms about straight or fingertips kind of to come in toward each other, creating a bit of a diamond with your elbows. So just explore a little bit and see what taking up space in a somewhat relaxed fashion feels like and looks like for you this morning. And you don't have to be completely still. Feel free to respond to movement if that's going to help you find a bit more tension release. And then send your attention more inward. And if it helps to close your eyelids, then close your eyelids. However, it's not fully necessary. And start to take some deeper breaths. And imagine that the breath would go all the way down to any places that have tension. So perhaps that is your shoulders, through your ankles, through the crown of your head. And I invite you to set a dedication or intention for your practice. Maybe something you said at the beginning of this calendar year. Talked a lot about things like surrender in the past couple classes. And if that's something that still speaks to you, then continue that theme. Take a deep breath in. Rise out on all sides. Imagine your whole body puffs up and out. And then exhale, soften. Deep breath in, fill up. This time, purse your lips like you're breathing through a straw, and then exhale through that straw. Very focused breath, again like that, deep breath in. Lightly purse your lips, exhale. And then, if your eyes are closed, blink them open. And then give yourself simply a good morning stretch. So if your knees are bent, if your arms are bent, reach your arms up above your head, reach your legs out in front of you, rock a little from side to side, making one leg longer and one arm longer, and then the other side. And then we'll take a banana asana shape, taking your legs over to the right corner of your mat, and then your arms over and your upper torso over to the right side. Right hand to your left ribs for just a little bit more stretch the left side of your body. Continue to draw your left shoulder down toward the mat. You can cross your left ankle over your right. And then on an exhale, come back to center. We'll take it over to the other side. Legs and feet over toward the left corner of your mat. Your upper body, your arms over toward the left as well. Crossing right ankle over left if you like. And then, of course, drawing the right shoulder down toward the mat. And then take it back to center. Bend both knees into your chest. Take your hands to tops of your knees and start to move your knees in circles together, away from each other. Starting to get just a bit of movement here. And then release your feet onto the mat. I'm going to take a little bit of a bridge flow. So shrug your shoulder blades underneath your back once again. So you've got some broadness across your collarbones. Fingertips tickling the backs of your heels. On the inhale, lift up your hips, wave your arms up and back, backs of hands to touch the mat behind you. Lift up your heels. Exhale, wave it all the way down. Really articulate each curve of your spine. Your hands and heels come down as well. Inhale, lift up, wave up, open out. Exhale, curl it back down. Once more like that. And then wave it all the way back down. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh without using the strength of your arms. Pull your knee in close to your chest. And then use your hands to thread the needle. And then draw your thigh just a little bit closer. Flex to the right foot. Bring your right knee away from you. Release the thigh, let your foot come down to the mat, and then drop both of your legs over to the left. So you end up on your left thigh and your right foot. Press through your elbows and then rotate your rib cage so your left side of your ribs comes up. Maybe send your gaze over to the right. Send your head back to center and then lift both legs up toward the ceiling again. Uncross. Cross left ankle over right thigh. Without using your arms, pull your right thigh in close to you, and then use the assistance of your arms. If you're interlacing your fingers, interlace them the opposite way. Just a few breaths here. And then release the leg. Drop both legs over to the right. Right thigh comes to the mat, left foot comes to the mat. Again, rotate your chest so right rib cage comes up with it. Send your gaze over to the left. And then take everything back up to center again. Uncross, take your hands to the backs of your thighs, rock up and down the length of your spine. And you're gonna make your way to sit on your bum with feet into the mat, knees bent. Grab your block. If you want to use it, we're going to take those boat extensions, those Navasana extensions, with an option to take a block handoff. So we'll start this Ardha Navasana with bent knees. You can place the block between your knees or down towards your ankles, which gets a little bit harder. So just know that and be like, I might need to change. And so what we're going to do is we're going to pass the block off between the legs to up above your head and then back again. So, you know, change it up as you need. It's just yoga. So first start with the block, either squeeze between your thigh or your shins or between your knees, arms alongside your body, flex through your toes. Your shins are just about parallel with the mat. Just stay here for a few breaths. Already feeling this heat building. And then on an inhale, extend your knees, reach your arms up above your head. On an exhale, bring everything close to each other, blocks to hands. Inhale, take it back, arms up overhead. Exhale, pull in, place the block back. Inhale, extend out, arms overhead. Exhale, pull in, hand off the block, lift up over your head, extend your feet up. Exhale, pull in, blocks to legs, extend out, arms overhead. Exhale, pull in, lift your arms up overhead with the block. Place it back between your legs. Again. Exhale, pull in. One more time, lift it up and over. Exhale, pull up, and then drop your feet, drop your block, roll over, your hands and your knees. Come to a child's pose. Toes together, knees wider apart. Active child's pose, so reach your arms out long. Pulling your hips towards your heels. Gently clawing at the mat with your fingertips. Point your inner elbows up and feel how that encourages your shoulder blades to kind of curl around you, creating a little bit of a more open space in your upper back. Exhale, drift into that further. Then lift up to your hands and your knees, realign your knees underneath your hips, and spread your fingertips wide. We're going to take a cat-cow flow. So shift your hips back to your heels, still long through your arms. Inhale, rise to your knees, palms lift up, slight back bend. Exhale, modified child's. Hands and head drop down. Inhale, come forward to a cow pose, belly is down, hips hard up. Exhale, press up through your cat, shift it all the way back. Lift up to your knees. Arc back, exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, keep it low, coming forward to your cow pose, fully extend. Exhale, press up into your cat. Send your hips back to your heels. Modified child, stay here for just a few breaths. Come back up to your hands and knees, and then take your hands to the wider corners of your mat. We'll take Anahatasana, melting heart pose. Inner elbows point up. Your hips are generally over your knees, and then start to drop down. I don't know if you could see or hear that. My shoulder just cracked. Apparently this was a little bit of a shape that I needed as well. So keep your active hands, active fingers as you start to reach your chest, maybe even your chin down toward the mat. Softening through your forehead. And then start to lift your way back up, back to hands and knees. Tuck your toes, lift up your knees so you can hover them. And we take another cow pose. Reach your heart forward, belly drifts down, hips point up. Exhale, press into cat, keeping your knees hovered. Inhale, swim your heart forward. Exhale and say cow, cat. One more time, inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. And then release your knees down to the mat. Press your hips back towards your heels and press up and back to downward facing dog. So a little bit of movement if you like. Pointing your knees out to the side, wagging your tail, finding some looseness through your neck. Notice if you are holding on to something that simply is not serving you right now. And give yourself just a bit of break. All right, bend your knees, look towards the top of your mat. And on an exhale, step or hop all the way to the top, forward fold. Let's take a ragdoll pose here, bending your knees generously. And then if you want to sway, or if maybe pulling yourself from side to side and making yourself have just a little bit of a forward fold twist here, just be really mindful of your knees as you're twisting because there's a little bit of torque going on there. And then come back to center, forward fold. 3 times, you're going to take a halfway lift. On a breath in, lift up halfway, fingertips into the mat. Reach your heart forward. Press your feet down away from each other. Feel in your outer hips. Exhale, hinge forward. Again, inhale, halfway lift. Look out. Exhale, take it down. Last time like that. Inhale, look out. Exhale. Take it all the way down. Take your hands to your hips. Point up your elbows. Roll your shoulder blades on your back. Send your chin out. Inhale. Come up to standing, and on an exhale, take your hands alongside your body in Tadasana. Inhale to reach your arms out and up above you. Interlace your fingers, but release your index. Bump your hips to the left and then arc over to the right. Draw your low belly in, and then notice if your left shoulder is kind of squeaking forward, edge it back, and then even look beyond your left armpit. Press down through your left foot. Come back up to center. Relace your fingers opposite way. Bump your hips to the right, arc over to the left. Use the strength of your arms of your left hand rather, to pull your right arm just a bit. Draw your tailbone down towards the ground. Little weight to your right foot. Take it back up to center. All right, you can either switch out your fingertips again or leave them as they are. Lift up and back. So you're pulling your low belly in, pulling your hips up towards your ribs like you're pulling up on some suspenders. This will give you a little tension to your bum. And lean back slightly. Maybe shrug your arms back. Maybe look back towards your fingertips, press down through your feet. And then on exhale, come up, bend your knees. Forward fold, release your hands down to the mat. Ragdoll pose once again. Inhale, halfway lift. Look out. Exhale, fold. Step back to the top of a plank pose. And then lowering with your knees up or down, all the way down to your mat. Untuck your toes. Backwards breath cobra. Take your arms alongside your mat. Point your elbows up. On an inhale, prepare forehead down to the mat, low belly in. Exhale, press through the tops of your feet and your fingertips. Start to roll up. Inhale, unravel to your cobra pose. Exhale, wave it down. Maybe even consider taking your feet a little bit wider on your mat for more space. Inhale, prepare. Low belly in. Engage your core. Exhale, start to press up. Shrug your shoulders back. Maybe send your chin upward. Exhale, take it all the way back down. One more time like that. Breath in. Exhale, start to wind your way up using your core strength to protect your low back. Maybe send your chin up. Exhale, wave it all the way back down. Take your hands back in close to you, elbows point straight up. Forehead down, tuck your toes, lift up on your kneecaps, shrug your shoulders onto your back. And then even here, put your hips towards your ribs. Start to press up, either dropping your knees or pressing up through your chaturanga. Make it up and back to downward facing dog. Deep breath in and full breath out. On your next inhale, right leg lifts up and back. On an exhale, place your foot between your hands toward the right thumb. Drop your left knee down or weight to your left palm. Peel your right fingertips up for a low lunge twist. Shrug your shoulders back and really lengthen through the crown of your head. Simply breathe here. Reach your arm up over your head, your pinky facing down. And then just make a spiral like you're drawing a huge line across the ceiling. Arm back. Lift it up and over. Elbow facing down. Inhale, up and back. Take it all the way over again. And then release your hands down to the mat. Tuck your back toes, lift up your back knee. And then when you're ready, you're going to step forward so your feet are next to each other, top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, look forward. Exhale, bow, step your right foot all the way to the back of the mat, low lunge. Drop your right knee to the mat. Weight to right palm, left fingertips come up, low lunge twist. So for your back foot, tucked or untucked, either way works well. Start to move a little bit through your shoulder. Notice if you need just some movement here. And then you're going to reach your left arm up and over, pinky down. Notice if your left hip comes with you, just guide it back. And then draw that line, paintbrush all the way up and over, reaching to the back of your mat. Lift up and over once again. Several more times, just exploring this movement. And if you notice you need to make it a little bit more elaborate, then do what you need. And then release your hand down toward the mat. Tuck your back toes, lift up the back knee. This time you're going to step your left foot back, top of plank pose. Come to your forearms for a forearm plank. So we're going to move into a dolphin pose. If you'd prefer not to do that, you want to stay low to the ground. Grounding is something that speaks to you more, then stay there. Other option is to move with me into dolphin. Press down through your forearms. So you're lifting up your chest away from the mat. And then you're going to counteract that by walking your feet in closer to your elbows. Find a spot, breathe here for several breaths. Continue to press the mat away from you. And then walk your feet in maybe a centimeter closer. Several more breaths. Soften through your forehead. And then maybe a tiny bit closer again. Just breathe. All right, then walk your feet back. Drop your knees to your mat, and then take a restful pose, such as child's pose, or maybe sitting up onto your knees. Notice the temperature and the heat you've created. If it's a little too much, you could always come up and start to release some of that heat, soften out. Notice your exhales. Notice how rapidly or slowly you breathe in. The next 3 breaths are your own. We will meet in downward facing dog. Take this time to do with whatever you'd like. The first of 3 breaths begins now. About now, you might be coming on the 3rd exhale. Make your way back to your downward facing dog. On an inhale, right leg comes up and back. And on an exhale, place your foot between your hands toward the right thumb. Pivot your left heel in. Take your right hand to your right hip, just simply draw it back, and then when you're ready, rise up to your first warrior 1 of this class. So press to the outer edge of your left foot. This is going to help your left hip come forward, descending your right thigh even more, maybe coming to a place where it feels like your thigh could even become parallel to the mat. Arms up overhead, just breathe. First, take 1 cactus arm, elbows like they touch behind you, send your chin up. Arms lift up. This time, come to cactus arms, straightening the front leg. Send your gaze up. Come back to that warrior 1. Deepen in. This time, cactus arms. Extend your arms behind you. Send your gaze up. And then rebend into the front knee, coming back to your warrior 1. Keeping your arms up, straighten the right leg. We're coming into more of a pyramid pose. Right hip notches back. And then you're going to reach forward, forward, forward. We talked about this a little bit before the sequence began. Pinkies facing in toward each other. Of course, anytime if you want to drop your hands, please do. Or see if you can create this balance, keeping your torso up, your arms up. All right, then lift your way back up, rebend into the front knee, warrior 1. Cross your left elbow underneath once or twice. Garudasana arms. So you can also take your hands to your shoulders. Inhale, send your gaze up, look up. Exhale, maintaining the deep bend in your front knee. Curl forward. Inhale, come up. This time, straighten the front leg, send your fingertips up. Maybe slight arc back. Exhale, pull in, rebend to the front knee, get low. Once more like that, lift up, straightening the front leg. And then exhale, curl in, rebend into the front knee. Unravel your hands, place them onto the mat. Pop up your back heel and then realign your heel with your toes, so all toes and heels facing the same way. Lean forward, we're going to come to a standing splits, left leg lifts. Breath in, wave out halfway once again, lifting up through your inner left thigh, exhale, hinge forward. Just several breaths here. On your next exhale, release your left foot next to the right, forward fold. Breath in, Ardha Uttanasana, half lift. Exhale, fold back to the forward. Press through your feet, root to rise. Come up all the way to standing. Lift up your arms, lift up your chin. And then on an exhale, take your hands to your heart center or alongside your body. Tadasana, 3 breaths. Inhale, hands lift up, chin turns up. Exhale, hinge at your hips, maybe bend to your knees as you come all the way forward. Release your hands down. Breath in, halfway lift, fingertips to shins or your mat or your thighs. Exhale, fold. Step back to the top of a plank pose. Option to take a vinyasa or come down to your forearms, move into dolphin pose. Forearms down, pressing through your arms to lift up your back and walking your feet towards you. Staying here for just a few breaths. And then making your way back to downward facing dog. If you still need a vinyasa, please take it. Once in your down dog, deep inhale, full exhale. Left leg lifts up on an inhale, and on an exhale, place the foot between your hands toward the left thumb. Pop your right foot in just a bit, angle it down at 45 degrees. Take your left hip, notch it back, press down through your feet, and then rise up to your warrior 1, opposite side. So again, right hip comes forward, left hip draws back, pull up on your hips like you're cinching up some suspenders here. And then one time with the knee bent, take a cactus arms, look up, come back to warrior 1. This time, cactus arms, straightening the front leg, your left hip will pull back, keep that hip, the pelvis in tension, then rebend into warrior 1. Once more, take your cactus arms, straightening the front leg, extend your arms behind you. All right, come back to the warrior 1, sit low. Wrap your right elbow underneath for garudasana arms, once or twice. Inhale, send your gaze up. Exhale, curl your elbows in towards your belly. Legs in warrior 1 still. Inhale, come up. Straightening the front leg, maybe even lean back, send your gaze up. Exhale, curl in, elbows in towards belly. Knees still reaching straight forward. Again, inhale, come all the way up. And then exhale. Keeping garudasana arms in warrior 1 legs. Unravel your arms, take your hands down to the mat for support. Lift up the back heel and then pivot so their heel and toes are in the same line. On an exhale, launch forward, standing splits, right leg lifts. Lift up through your left thigh, making it even longer. Lifting up through your inner right thigh. And then on an exhale, release the foot next to the other, top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Press through your feet to lift all the way up to standing. Send your gaze up. Exhale, hands to your heart center. Keeping your thumbs in towards your sternum or arms alongside your body, 3 breaths. Inhale, hands lift up, chin tilts up. Exhale, forward fold. Bow all the way down, release your hands. Breath in, offer your heart out. And then exhale, fold, honor yourself. Step back to the top of a plank pose. Option to come down to a pyramid, not pyramid, my goodness, to come down to a dolphin pose or go to your pyramid. Oh gosh, or third vinyasa, pyramid on the brain. Whatever you've taken, come back to your downward facing dog. Make sure that you've given yourself 3 full rounds of breath. And then come down to your child's pose. Allow yourself to have a more restful child's pose. And of course, if being on your belly here is not comfortable, come to sit on your knees or find another posture that is restful. As you're ready, come back up to your hands and knees. Realign your knees and your heels in a tabletop pose. Inhale, come to cow pose, belly drifts down, heart and hips lift up. Exhale, press into your cat. And then once more like that, swim your heart forward for cow. Exhale, press up into cat. Tuck your toes and then press up and back to downward facing dog. I'm realizing why my brain is on pyramid. It's because we didn't do it on the other side. So we're going to do that now. Step your left foot forward, place your foot between your hands. Step your right foot in, angle it down. Left hip goes back. So first we're going to come all the way up. Lift your arms up, right hip pulls forward, left back. And then hinge your hips back as you come forward, arms alongside your ears. This is what my brain was missing. Shoulders away from your ears, even here. Just breathe and then release your hands down to the mat. Okay, I think things are a little bit better now. Bend into the front knee, put it onto the back ball of your foot so that your heel is in line with your toes. And now step back to your downward facing dog. Okay, things are better now. There's more balance in the universe because of that. Deep breath in, full breath out. Inhale, right leg up and back, and on an exhale, place your foot between your hands. We're going to come to a warrior one once again, angling the back foot down, lift your arms up. Straighten the front leg, cactus arms, send your gaze up. Exhale. Lift, keep your right leg extended, but arms up. Hinge forward for your pyramid pose once again. Arms alongside your ears. And then rebend into the front knee, coming back to warrior one. Garudasana arms, left elbow on the bottom. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, curl your elbows in towards your belly, bow forward. This time, inhale, come up, straightening the front leg, maybe even a deeper back bend. Breathe, exhale, curl everything in. Come down. Unravel your arms, come up onto the ball of the back foot, launch forward, standing splits. All right, this time on an exhale, you're going to curl your left knee behind your right, come all the way down onto your bum. So your knees are crossed. If it's not quite working out, just come down so that your right knee is bent and placed on the outside of your left knee. Right hand behind you, fingertips away, lean back. Inhale, lift up your left arm. Exhale to twist. You can either draw your left knee in close to you or take your elbow to the outside of your thigh. Start to draw your shoulder blades together and then take the twist from your belly up through your upper back, shoulders, and neck. Send your gaze back to the front of your mat. Unravel and then take a counter twist over to the side, reach out, drop your head. Lift your way back up. Keeping your right foot over, you're going to cross at your ankles and then rolling over onto your hands and knees. You can shoot back to chaturanga, take a vinyasa, or just press back to downward facing dog, or any other such combination. When you're ready, inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, place your foot between your hands toward the left thumb. Step your right foot in, make your way up to your warrior one. Once again, on the left side. One time, take your elbows down like a cactus arm, straighten the front leg. And then lift up your arms, return to your warrior one. Straighten the left leg, reach out forward, coming to your pyramid pose. Left hip draws back, shoulders away from your ears, pinkies toward each other. Just breathe. Pressing through both feet, rebend into the front knee, come back to your warrior one. Arms lift up. Right elbow comes on the bottom. Garudasana arms, wrapping once or several times. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, draw your elbows in towards your belly, come all the way down. Inhale, lift up, this time straightening or extending the front knee. Lift up. Exhale, take it all the way down. Unravel your arms, place your hands onto the mat. Pivot your heel up and angle the heel in the same line as your toes. Launch forward, standing splits. Right leg lifts long through the left thigh. Inhales, lengthen. Exhales, you fold. And then bend both knees, tucking the right knee behind the left. Make your way all the way down onto your bum. So again, you've got some crisscross legs. If you notice that your left hip is rising up away from the mat, simply extend the bottom leg. Left hand behind you, fingertips away. Inhale, lift up the right arm and lean back, and then exhale, begin to twist, either drawing your knee in close to you or elbow to the outside of the left thigh. See if you can find an equal spin of your torso here. So not just cranking into one part, equal rotation towards the bottom, middle, top, and neck. And then send your gaze back towards the front of your mat. Unravel. Take your counter twist to the other side. Release back down. And then press back up. Keeping your legs crossed like they are. This time you're going to have your left ankle over the right, feet down, hands down. Either hop back to a chaturanga and take a vinyasa, or step back to downward facing dog, or something else that suits you at this time. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Bend your knees, look beyond your fingertips, and this time you're going to hop to a seat in the center of your mat. Left leg out, right foot into your left thigh for Adranushirsasana. Inhale, your arms up, pivot your chest over your left thigh, and then reach your hands for your leg. Make an adjustment as you need. Break the pose. Inhale, lift out. Left hip pulls back, hinge forward, reach forward with your neck, and then deepen your pose. Inhale, lift up again. Exhale, break your pose, come up to seated. You're going to pivot your torso now more towards the bent knee. So it might be a little bit more to the front, more to the bent knee, but we're kind of facing away from that extended leg. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. And then you're going to lean over to the left. So your hand comes down to your thigh, your shin, or maybe all the way down to the mat. Reach your right arm up and over. And then come up to seated again. Right arm draws that long rainbow across the ceiling. Take it up and over again. Wrapping your left rib cage upward. Take it up and back. And again, reaching your shoulder, left inner shoulder to your left knee. Reach your left arm, right arm up and over. Exhale, come up once again. Switch out legs. Right leg comes out, left foot into right thigh. This time we'll take the Janushirasana. Inhale, lift up, pivot towards the lengthened leg. Reach your hands out. And again, break your pose. Your right hip draws down and back. Chest comes forward, neck goes long. And then on an exhale, deepen your pose. And also other options for deepening is pressing your left knee down and back. This will usually facilitate a little bit of a hinge forward again. All right, lift up when you're ready. Exhale and to release. Pivot your torso more towards the space between your legs or toward the left thigh. Inhale, reach both arms up. On an exhale, you're going to keep your chest open, right rib cage comes up. So arm to the elbow, chin, or down to the mat. Put your left arm up and over. Draw that line, take it up and over. Exhale, take it all the way back down, reaching for your toes, coming up, over. And then just one more time for good measure. Poor left side always gets neglected, right? Very nice. All right. Rock over your hands and knees. Make your way back to downward facing dog. Take a vinyasa if that is needed. From your down dog, inhale. Right leg comes up and back. On an exhale, take your foot to the outside of your right hand. We're going to take a lizard pose here. I'm going to take the left knee down for this variation. If you're seeking something that's a little bit more heat building, then you might choose to keep your left knee up. Shrug your shoulders back, find some lengthening, then on an exhale, begin to either slightly bend your elbows, place your forearms onto a block, or forearms all the way down to the mat. So for this first version, press down through the sole of your right foot, keeping your right knee generally up, but pointing your toes out to the side might be helpful. If you came down to your forearms, start to press your hands back up. So from here, if your left knee is up, I do encourage you to drop it down. Drop your right knee out to the side. Take your right hand to your right thigh, and then start to rotate it outward. So you've just got a little bit of an assist here. So you're just rotating your femur in the socket just a little bit. You might come fully on the outer edge of your right foot. All right, release your right hand. Take your right foot back down to the mat so your knee comes back up. You're going to walk your foot across your body. We're coming into a pigeon pose. Gently drop your right knee down behind your right wrist, and then start to walk your left leg back. And depending on where you are here, again, it might be more comfortable if you've got some props underneath you. Perhaps that's not uncomfortable if you're not touching the mat. Flare through your back toes. Just take a gander back and make sure that your heel is striking upward. Deep breath in, find some openness through your chest, then on an exhale, come all the way forward. If this is not speaking well to you, either in your hips or in your knees, then you might choose to come onto your back for figure four, similar to what we started with toward the beginning of this class. Start to press your way back up, pressing your hands into the mat. Tuck your back toes to lift your back knee. You can come up and back to a downward, or a tripod jog rather, striking your heel up toward the ceiling and then moving your leg around, feeling the blood rush back. And then if you'd like a vinyasa between sides, please do that. We'll meet in downward facing dog. From down dog, inhale, left leg up and back, and on an exhale, place your foot to the outside of your left hand. Again, we'll take lizard pose here. I'm going to be taking the knee down variation. However, if knee up is speaking to you, please do that. Toes slightly out to the side, shrug your shoulders back, and then on an exhale, start to surrender to the pose, bending elbows, coming onto a prop, or all the way down to your mat. Start to press your way back up if you came down to forearms. And then if you have the back knee up, I encourage you to drop it down for this other variation. You're going to send your weight over to your right hand just a bit. Let your left leg drop out to the side, left hand to your left thigh. So you can just open it up just a bit. So I'm not pushing down necessarily. I'm actually grabbing my thigh and then taking the inner part of my thigh and then slowly rotating it up ever so slightly. So it's likely something that you're going to be able to feel internally in your body more than being able to visibly see a shift here. All right, release your thigh, take the knee back up. Take both hands down to the mat, and then you're going to wiggle your left foot across your body. dropping your left knee behind your left wrist, generally coming to our pigeon pose. And again, if this is not going to work for you this morning, then you might choose to come to your back to take a figure four pose. Take a look over your right heel, see if anything tricksy is going on. Inhale, lift your heart up. And then on an exhale, use all that space that you've created coming into your pigeon pose. As you're ready, start to press your hands back into the mat to lift yourself up. Tuck your back toes, lift up the back knee, and then stick your left leg back up toward the ceiling for a tripod dog. Move your leg around, the blood flowing back. And then make your way back to a downward facing dog. If you'd like to take one final vinyasa of this class, you're welcome to do that. You're gonna, from your down dog, drop your knees to the mat, lower all the way down to your belly, elbows grazing your rib cage, and then flip onto your back. Pull your right knee in towards your chest and take a gentle supine twist, drawing your knee across your body, pressing through your elbows so you can twist your shoulders as well. Right shoulder coming down more toward the mat, and send your gaze over to the right. On an exhale, take your head and knee back up to center. Extend the right leg out. Pull your left knee in, and then twist to the opposite direction. On your next exhale, take your head and knee back to center. Bend both knees, pull them in towards you, wrap your arms around your shins, bring your forehead up towards your knees. Offer yourself an embrace for this body that has carried you your whole life through this moment. And then on an exhale, release. Come into your final posture of this class, which is Shavasana. You might choose to take a similar shape that you began the class with. Maybe it was with bent knees or bent elbows. Or you could take a more traditional Shavasana in a kind of a gentle starfish shape. Your feet reaching towards the corners of your mat and your arms outstretched, creating some space between hands and your torso. Take time as you need it to find a place where you can find stillness, find gentle support. And then systematically beginning to remove muscular tension. Allowing your breath to become soft once again. Bringing awareness into your being. Slowly draw in a deeper breath and surrender to your exhale. Explore some movement, your extremities, as your thoughts drift back to the dedication or intention that you set for this practice. And as you slowly reawaken your physical body, roll over onto one side, pausing for several breaths, drawing your knees in closer to you, maybe using your arm as a pillow. Dropping your heart closer down to the mat to press yourself back up and come to a seated posture for a brief reflection and meditation. On an inhale, bring your arms out and up, palms press above you, tilt your chin up. And on an exhale, take your thumbs to the space between your eyebrows for clarity of thought, to your lips for clarity of speech, and down to your heart for clarity of action. Bow your head to your heart in honor, in humility, and in gratitude. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. Thank you for letting me guide you. And thank you for helping me deepen my own practice. May we all surrender. Sat-cit-ananda. I can't wait to see you guys out in the world. Namaste.